If you're like me, and I'm willing to bet that you are, you've either seen a dog being really poorly behaved on a leash, or you've even experienced it yourself. Now, we all know that this is a very tiresome way to, enjoy the outdoors with your dog when they're constantly pulling or getting distracted in the leash. So what I'd like to cover today is a very quick game that you can play with your dog to really teach them how to pay attention to you on the leash and not be distracted and wandering off. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump in to teach this. Now, if you're brand new to the channel, my name is Zach and this is Gus, and we're part of the team from GreatDaneCare.com. And it's our mission to help Great Danes and owners everywhere to take better care of their dogs. So if this is a mission that resonates with you, make sure to go ahead and subscribe down below and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Now, as I alluded to, poor leash behavior is obviously a very frustrating experience because your dog could be zigzagging, pulling you this way and that way, and especially when it comes to giant breeds like Great Danes, it can also be very dangerous. I mean, they could literally pull the leash out of your hands and dart across the street and get potentially hurt or injured, but in the process, they could even potentially injure you. Let's say if they pull you really hard and yank your arm, knock you down, this is something that could hurt both yourself and the dog. So it's really important that as soon as possible, you get really good at kind of walking on the leash with your Great Dane. So that way, both of you can enjoy walks and enjoy being out in public with them as well. Now, one way that I like to teach this to really make it a easier process for everyone is just by playing a game. Now, the beauty of games is it makes it kind of fun and interactive, both for yourself as well as your dog. But this particular game, which I call the sprint walk method, is also a great way to actually get some exercise as well. Now, what you'll do with this is by, of course, taking some basic training materials, including their collar and just a very basic 6-foot leash here. We'll, in a field or some kind of other open area, we'll practice just alternating, just kind of walking around on leash together with sections of actually kind of sprinting in different directions. Now, the key here is that you're always varying the speed between going fast and slow and taking turns left and right. And because it keeps your dog always guessing as to kind of what's going to happen next, it forces them to pay attention to kind of what you're up to. And this is great for kind of once you kind of slow things down to a regular speed here for just your regular walks, because they become very attuned to your movements, whether it being going faster or slower or turning left and right. It makes them just so much easier to handle when it comes to leash. So with that, I'll jump in and I'll show you a live example of what this looks like for teaching the sprint walk method. All right, so to begin teaching the sprint walk method, you can see that I obviously have my 6-foot leash here. It's a standard leash that's non-retractable, so that way you're working with a fixed length. And I'll go ahead and choke up very close to leash, so that way the dog has very little wiggle room to get very far away from me. And obviously the leash is attached to her collar. So we'll begin here just by simply kind of walking back and forth, taking turns. But as you'll see, I'm going to alternate my speed in terms of just kind of walking at a nice pace, and also sprinting and doing abrupt stops and speed changes, as well as turning left and right. All right, so after a couple rounds here of sprinting, taking lefts and rights and stopping abruptly, we'll see that Gus is following very closely to me because she's paying attention and really monitoring my movement. Now, what you also notice is that I'm a little bit out of breath. So this is a great way, as I mentioned previously, to give yourself a quick workout as well as your dog and make things a little bit more exciting and interactive than just a frustrated set of both of you just pulling back and forth on the leash and fighting to maintain control. All right, so as you can see, the sprint walk method is very simple and also very effective. And that applies not just to getting your dog to be better behaved on the leash, but also for getting in the quick workout. As you can see, it only takes a matter of maybe 5 or 10 minutes and both yourself and your dog will have a good little quick workout in, all the while they're getting better walking on the leash and not being as distracted or pulling left and right, because it teaches them to really pay attention to you, all while doing so in a setting that makes it kind of fun to learn as well. Now, the other thing that I'd also recommend is that once you finish this session, make sure you spend time having fun, play with them, throw a ball. Maybe you give them a treat or two. I wouldn't necessarily give too many treats during the run just because you are sprinting back and forth and we don't want a bunch of food and water, sloshing around inside their stomachs here. But certainly feel free to reward them and praise them and make sure that they know that they did a good job, because this is what really makes it fun for them and makes them look forward to these sessions where they're learning to work with you instead of against you. Now, on that note, make sure that you don't just simply do the sprint walk method one time. This is something you should be practicing every single week. Better yet, every couple of days if you have the time to do so. It doesn't take a whole lot of time, so go out there and practice, because it'll make your walks that much more enjoyable. If you like this video, make sure to go ahead and give us a like down below and subscribe if you have not already. And until next time, stay Daney, my friends.